Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Off the Cuff. I am on my way to the movie theater in downtown Santa Cruz. Going to see the movie Skyscraper for the Cinema Opinions podcast that I do with Bradley Brownell. And yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. I have to go up to the window and say, "One for Skyscraper, please." It's weird enough seeing a movie by yourself. It's always kind of like, at least me, maybe I'm just not confident enough, but I feel like a weirdo. And then seeing a movie like Skyscraper just pushes it to a whole nother level. So yeah, I'm going to check that out. I'm driving the 944 right now. I feel like I haven't really done much with this car lately, and it's true, I haven't done much at all. I've been so busy with everything else we're doing and just haven't had time to really do anything to the 944. So I drove it up the coast yesterday. I mean, not far at all, like 15 minutes up the coast to Davenport, where we do our Cars and Coffee, which, by the way, we are having a DWA Cars and Coffee this Saturday in the morning at 8 o'clock. So we usually do it like 8 to 10 in the morning, but I'll probably show up at 7:30. The parking lot has been fixed a little bit. The entryway used to be kind of gnarly, like there was two huge potholes, and with any kind of sports car or even sedan or anything, you had to pick your path, right? And now they've fixed that entrance, and it's 90% better, I would say. And then there's still the big old pylons from a pier that used to be there in the parking lot, and a couple pipes sticking out of the ground, which are really weird. And I can't believe the county hasn't done anything about that. But I'll bring some cones to mark those off. But yeah, I was driving up the coast yesterday in the 944, this car, and it got me. I hadn't driven in a while, like a week or so, and I don't know, every time I jump in this car after not driving it, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate like the simplicity of it, the interior. I mean, it barely even has an interior when you think about it, especially these early cars, especially with my like center console Elite. So it's just like, it's a tiny dash and some door panels and seats, essentially. That's like all that the interior is. I appreciate that, and the big roomy cabin. And then I just appreciate the way the car drives, especially with the little mods that I've done to this car. I think they have helped it a lot and kind of like made everything that was good just a little bit better. So, haven't gone crazy with anything. I just have, and a lot of it's kind of OEM plus, or even the best of the OEM, right? So I have big sway bars, like MO30 sway bars. I think they're 27.7 mil in the front and 21 point something in the back. And then I have some sway bar stiffener brackets that some company makes that are, I don't know, $40 part or something like that. And then I have fresh Bilstein, fresh, I put them in 2 years ago, but I have Bilstein shocks and struts, Weltmeister lowering springs on the front, lowers it an inch, so 250 pound springs, I think. The rear, I would still like to do some upgraded torsion bars, but it does pretty well. And then I have good rubber from Michelin, and the header, of course, from MSDS. I think that thing really freed it up. And then I have a chip in this, which makes the rev band a lot smoother and more progressive. But besides that, it's pretty, and then I have a Prototipo steering wheel, which the Prototipo is like the classic Momo in my mind. And I've had one, I think my first 914 had one that I bought in 97. And I've basically, I transferred that wheel to a few cars, actually, to a 944 I had, and I've basically been, and then they started reissuing the Prototipos in the, I want to say it was like the early to mid 2000s. And that's when they, like, you know, every car is a prototipo now. But I can say I was the guy that had one of the OG prototipos before. So I was cool before. But yeah, I'm just, and then I have the short shifter and stuff like that, which just makes it a nicer drive. But I was like, I was commenting to myself on the drive up how much I love this car and how good it is. And I think it's, the 944 might be the best bargain of any classic car around, really. I can't think of a better bargain, really. And for a true sports car, which, I mean, I guess you could say the 944 is a little bit more of a, it has a lot of GT in it, so it's not like pure sports car, but pretty much a pure sports car. I mean, I'm sitting 6 inches off the ground, and 50-50 weight distribution, rear transaxle, just a really great neutral handling car. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. And it just got me thinking that it really is the best, I think it's the best bargain we have going these days. And it's the most underappreciated, maybe the most underappreciated classic car, at least in the last like 40 years. I can't think of anything that you can get. I mean, you can get a good driver 944 for $3,000, and you know what's comparable to that in a world when 2002s are $15,000 for a project, and a Porsche 914 is $15,000 for a decent car. You know, a project as well. It kind of blows my mind how cheap the 944 still is, and the fact that, you know, you can still pick them up for $3,000, and you can get a really nice like NA 944 for $5,000 basically. It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of car, a lot of sense of occasion for, you know, just a lot of the old school stuff that we enjoy in cars, like analog car stuff. And it's a quality, you know, it's a very quality car. It was an expensive car when it came out. It can, you know, it was regarded as a great car back then. You know, all these best handling, won best handling and Car and Driver, was, you know, top 10 car lists, stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy to me that they're as cheap as they are these days. So I just, you know, you can compare it against like a 240Z. The numbers are pretty close. Stock for stock, the 944 is, I mean, it's a way better built car, no matter, you know, no doubt. And stock for stock, it's a better handling car. Probably around the same, you know, 0 to 60 numbers and stuff like that. Maybe the 944 even has an edge on a stock Z. I've had a Z, by the way. I had a 71 240Z, which is, I think, a pretty good year for those cars. And, you know, you can't touch a good Z nowadays for under, I don't know, probably $15,000 or so. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I was just like, I was kind of tripping, like the 944. I mean, basically it has to go up in value, right? It's such a good car. So that's my takeaway. My takeaway, I guess, is that I love my car, and I think that they are the bargain right now. So if you want a good classic motoring experience, or a modern classic motoring experience, I would say pick up a 944. And I mean, the turbos are fun, S2s are cool, all those. I still dig an early NA car, and I think 83 is the one to go for. Mine's an 85, but 83, no power steering, manual sunroof, sunroof, I guess. What would you call this thing? Yeah, I would go for an 83, but I don't know, any of the NA 944s would be a great buy right now, and you can get the nicest one in the world for, I don't know, I mean, I guess they're actually pretty high when you get the nicest one in the world, but you can get a really, 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 really nice car for like $7,000, and you can get a good car for $5,000, and you get a pretty decent car for $3,000 still, and you might even find a better deal. You might find one with like a blown head gasket for $500, and a head gasket, it's not that big of a deal, right? You just go get your head machined and all that for $500 and put the head on. So if you're mechanically inclined. But yeah, that's what this video is. It's 944 is the most underappreciated classic sports car around right now. Fight me. Later.